Hi, I'm John Ruggiero, and welcome to this episode of New Jersey Paranormal. Joining me today is my teammate Chris, and in this episode we're going to feature the Creeper Gallery in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Now we're talking about a store that's not only in a haunted building, but they sell haunted objects as well.
And artwork.
Artwork.
The two artists.
Right.
Danny and Donna.
Danny and Donna own the store. We first heard about them I was doing research.
Yeah, we're trying to find a new subject for the show.
Right. And I Googled haunted objects. The store came up, but it was attached to Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures. Now, Zach was looking on Instagram. He somehow found their store, saw all the items that were haunted and the artwork, and he wound up contacting them, and he bought out their entire inventory. Well, the whole entire store. The
funny thing about that, though, he didn't come to the store. They remotely, he literally had them send a picture
video.
Of the whole entire,
video.
Everything, and then he picked and itemized everything he wanted out of the store.
And that was for the museum. So a lot of the items in his museum in Las Vegas are from the Creeper Gallery. And then they said, what, 2 months later?
3 months, I think.
2 or 3 months later, he bought half the inventory again. So reading that article, and then I noticed they had more haunted items that they collect all the time. I contacted Donna. I asked Donna, is there any kind of activity in that building due to the haunted items that you collect? And she said, are you kidding me? There's stuff that goes on here all the time. And there's a story behind who they think it is, why they think the building is haunted. There's multiple spirits, not just the one. It's multiple layers of spirits attached to the objects from the building, from something that happened in the town. So I was really curious and anxious to get in there. So I asked Donna, would you consider having a paranormal group come in there? And she said, we never have, but you know what, maybe it's about time. So we set up the investigation. We went there, we interviewed Donna and Danny, and we investigated the building and caught a lot of evidence.
And not only that, but there's a lot of oddity stuff that's in there that's pretty creepy in its own too.
So we're gonna watch the interview, and then we're gonna talk about the evidence and play what we captured there. We'll be back after the interviews. I'm here at the Creeper Gallery in New Hope, Pennsylvania with Donna and Danny, the two owners. Tell me, where did the idea for the store come from?
So Donna and I have been artists and friends for about a decade, and we met at a convention and we appreciated each other's work, and we stayed in touch over the years. And we went to lunch one day after she had lost a dog that was very close to her, and that was her best bud. And so I said, let's go have lunch in New Hope. And we just sat down and giggled, wouldn't it be fun if we put our art together and we had this shop in New Hope? And we kind of got excited about it. And 6 months later, next thing you know, we found this place.
So was the art what we're seeing here? There was similar type of art that you would both work on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you walk around New Hope, and there's the restaurants, there's the antique stores, and then there's the other art stores.
Yeah.
This is sort of so different than anything else.
Well, it was either going to work or it wasn't going to work.
Okay. Yeah. And how long have you been here now?
Going on 5 years.
Okay, so what type of items do you display and sell here?
So we sell art, antiques, and oddities. The art we create, the antiques we curate, and same with the oddities. Just getting real hard to find because they're such obscure, peculiar items.
Okay. Let's talk about the experiences, paranormal wise. Have you had any here, either of you, and is there any that sort of stand out?
There's been a few incidents, yeah. I one day watched on this piece of furniture was a candlestick about the same height as this, but on top, instead of a doll head, was a crow. And it was right here on the corner, and a woman made some snide comment about it, and ooh, like it was gross or something, and she continued to walk around. I swear to you, that crow came off that candlestick went right by her head.
Get out of here.
Now, it didn't flap its wings,
Right.
but it did shoot across the room, go right by her. It hit the floor, and she ran out there
I
screaming.
can imagine what her reaction was.
Yeah, and
Wow.
The ram head
the ram head. What, when it fell?
twice.
So something else fell. Does that happen often where things come off
we're
the shelves?
so, listen,
Not
you gotta
anymore.
understand, we're so careful. I mean, when we put something on the wall, it's on the wall.
Right.
So when something comes off once, but twice, it's just, I'm hard pressed to believe that something didn't somehow move it, or, because there was no breakage, there was no stress points, it was just suddenly on the ground.
Now, did these things sort of happen since you opened the store, or was it?
We were renovating. We were getting ready to open. And we didn't think about it being haunted because we weren't told.
Right.
But we found out within a week
Yeah.
stuff going on that it was.
Did you have any experiences that stand out as far as?
When we first opened, we had a East Lake rocking chair here, and I had an animal skin on it. That was probably the first for me because every day I'd come in and there'd be an ass mark on
An actual seat
an
mark
ass,
in the
like
skin.
somebody sat in the skin.
Petite.
Right, and then I would straighten it
Sorry.
out. I would pull it because we didn't want anybody sitting in the chair.
Right.
So we would pull it tight, and she'd do it on Saturday. I'd come in on Sunday, and there'd be an ass mark.
Oh, how
Right?
she edits it for TV. And you just.
She just goes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and then oh, I'm sorry, was I
No,
going
it's
to
fine. It's
censor?
fine.
But then some hoodoo priest,
Okay.
we weren't even open yet, came in and said, Madeline is sitting right there.
So that's where the name came from.
That's where we got the name, and we figured at least we had a name. And then before we even opened, like 3 weeks, we were painting and getting ready. A woman came in. She was probably in her 40s. She lives here or works here. And she said, have you seen her yet? I'm like, have I seen who yet? You know, and she said, the little girl. I said, no. Have you had things going on? And I kind of told her what was going on with breakage and things falling and flying and the electric, forget. You know, she goes crazy with that.
Weird stacking
Weird.
of things.
Yeah,
Really?
she'll stack her toys in front of the door. She would take our business cards and put them around
wow.
the
That's
That was
table.
fascinating to me.
Around the table. And we didn't even think to tape them at that, you know, to photo it at that
We should have
point.
had a security.
We weren't
camera.
open yet.
Okay.
We weren't even open.
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
was
even
so
open
active
yet.
in the beginning, and it was like, just, you know, my whole thinking was somebody's messing with us.
Yeah.
But, you know, we at the time both live an hour away. We're not messing with each other.
Right.
We're too old and tired for that nonsense,
Right,
right?
practical
So,
jokes.
so then it started to get like weird. What is this?
Right.
Because it was very deliberate, and like that seat that you would see
Yes.
butt marks in.
Right.
Ass mark.
If when you
Okay.
pulled it tight, it stayed tight. It didn't fall with time. It just stayed until it didn't when whatever was happening. But the other thing that we did was then we put a picture on top of the skin
Yes,
just to see what would happen.
Yes,
Right.
I forgot
Okay.
about that.
And so basically we just took an old cardboard photo and put it,
was
on
a
there.
cabinet card. Remember?
It's-
And I
yeah.
watched it. I watched this with my own
And
eyes.
what happened?
And it would suddenly be turned around.
Did
Did
see
you hear that?
What was that?
That was that chain just behind you. Just went.
Started swinging, and it's on
Started
camera.
moving by itself.
It's on camera.
Let me tell you.
Did you see that?
That's
so
nothing.
finish your story. The card.
So then suddenly the card was spun around when it had just been okay.
A photo.
It had
like
been
a
upright.
cabinet photo.
It's. You said it spun around.
Yes.
Yeah, like it was flipped upside down.
Really?
But we didn't know how. We thought customers were doing it. And then I was here one Sunday. Our counter used to be there. And I'm waiting on a customer, and I just happened to look out the side of my eye as that card moved.
Wow.
And I called her and
So
said,
do you
the
think-
damn card just
so-
moved in front of me.
So you think the spirit was here before?
Spirit's always here.
Okay, but do you think there are additional spirits here that are attached
There are
to the
now.
objects as well?
Right here.
Okay. Yeah, we
Because
just saw the chain.
actually,
Kind of strange.
all the activity, and we've had a lot. When I say, and believe me, you touch the toys, and the electronics go crazy.
Okay.
We had animatronics in the window. They go boom, 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 and break if somebody was touching the toys.
I'm not even a believer to, and I fall in the middle.
Okay.
Right? I've seen some things I can't explain.
Right.
So I'm not opposed to it. But I can tell you what, I don't want anybody touching those toys because I can't do business.
Okay.
And we acknowledge.
Okay.
And the
And
maid,
you're respectful.
I think I'm on board.
Right.
we learned, actually the woman I was telling you about that came in that I didn't know, we were working in here. I don't think you were here that day. And she said, you see her? No. And so she did a paranormal investigation here 35 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who was here. And they were having all kind of issues. And at that time, from what she could remember, it was an 8-year-old girl.
Okay.
Died in this house, was a wooden house with a tin roof, burned to death in this house,
Wow.
and still is here because this was built. Now, this was Coriel's Ferry,
Yep.
and in the late 1700s, the whole town burned down.
Right.
So that's
So we have to assume that that's
Was part of it.
was part of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
This was built in the early 1800s or mid 1800s on the foundation of that original
Right.
house. She'll mess with customers. I don't say a word,
Right.
but customers will be going. She'll pull their hair. She'll pull their.
You know what's strange?
pants.
When I was in here
She'll keep
speaking
going
with
like
you initially, I did feel like my shirt was sort of
She
being
tugs.
a little on
Yeah.
the corner.
And she tugs. That's
Yeah.
what she does. Or she moves chains. Remember our last
And that
event?
was,
Yeah.
that was so bizarre that
We
actually
have a
happened
piece over
right here in front
there
of us.
that-
with all the medals on it.
Yeah.
And we were doing the event. We were talking about Madeline. All the medals on that piece of art right over there started going
Wow.
like this.
Yeah. They were all just.
Everybody
jingling.
was here, and
It was amazing.
Everybody was here. Everybody was videotaping. And then Jeanette, who we talked about, she said, "Okay, now stop," and they all stopped.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Okay, well, we know you're here." It was so freaky. It was pretty freaky. We know she's here, but it was pretty freaky.
All right.
So-
Okay, so we're here in front of the two cases that hold haunted objects. I'm curious, where do you get the objects from, and how do you know they're haunted?
I don't buy them off of eBay because
Oh, okay.
anything marked haunted is not.
Okay.
I do get them from the families.
The
They're
families.
handed down through generations
Okay.
with the lore that goes along with them.
So somebody has a story that's attached to this one about
Uncle
relative.
Francis that died 60 years ago saw a white lady standing next to the urn.
Okay.
That's the family.
Well, like this one here, I mean, we were just talking about this one before, but the
Murder house.
that's wallpaper from an actual.
With the murder victim's blood on it from her hands when her head was being cut off.
That is crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and you can actually find, if you look up Gypsy Murder House, I think it was on the back, you'll look at it later, it'll tell you what town. It might have been Maryland, Baltimore, or somewhere.
Okay.
You can go on YouTube and actually see paranormal investigators going through the house before it was demolished, because the house was supposed to be intensely active with ghosts. The man that demolished the house was smart enough to scrape off the wallpaper
Oh my
in the
God,
hallway
that's
before he
crazy.
demolished it.
But that makes sense that would be haunted, or
Yes.
at least proven to be haunted. But some of the other objects, you said you had a medium or a person who's sensitive come in and handle them, and
Once I get the item, we do have what do we call them? Intuitive.
right, okay,
She works with us, does events for us. She comes in, she lays her hands on, and she gives us what she sees.
we're going to be able to use the items, open the cases
Yes.
tonight to see if we can kind of
Yes.
generate any activity from any of them. I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about Zach Baggins. We all know Zach, Ghost Adventures.
Yes.
He's real popular in the field. How did you come to meet Zach?
When we have Instagram account,
Okay.
and we post still every week if we can, if we're bringing new items in or something interesting. And he found us on Instagram.
Okay.
He must have been bored.
That storage, in Pennsylvania, he's all the way in Las Vegas.
Right, and he contacted us through email or through text. He went to our Facebook page, or I guess on Instagram you can get the text. He messaged us, and then we set up a conference call, Danny and I, and he bought just about the entire contents of our store.
Sight unseen? Did he come here
Sight
and visit?
unseen, no, just photographs. What we did, we had a video of the shop where we just went around.
Okay, you panned the whole thing.
Right, and then he sent us a list.
Basically everything.
Pretty much. The first time was pretty much everything, and he had never bought a piece of art, and he liked my art, large pieces. He said he was opening a haunted museum. That was when it was still just starting in Vegas, and he wanted to buy the shop. Wow. As a matter of fact, he wanted to buy the building next to his and have us come out and open a creeper gallery there. Wow. And we're like, nah, one's enough.
We're looking forward to, no one's been in the basement.
No, nobody's ever been in the shop to do an investigation.
Okay, so we're going to be the first group here investigating.
We're the first group, and the only reason is because I think it's time. In the beginning, we didn't want to, we already had an active scene, and we didn't want to increase the activity.
Right. Makes sense.
We feel that what's in the basement is dark in nature.
So you don't like going into the basement?
I don't go in the basement.
Okay, so.
We actually pay for the basement, but we don't go in the basement.
Okay, so we're definitely going to spend some time in the basement.
Yeah, you guys, you have a ball, but we don't want them up here. Okay. We don't want what's down there. What happened was we have the little girl spirit, and when we brought in the haunted items, there's actually children attached to these.
Okay.
So since we brought these items in, she has calmed down considerably.
Wow.
So she's playmates.
We have all these objects here with potentially that have energy attached to them.
Correct.
We have the spirit of the little girl, here, Madeline.
Right.
We're going to turn the lights out. We're going to go in the basement.
And we have bad things down there where the children are kept.
And we're going to see what we can see. Thank you so much, Donna, for having us. We'll show you what we capture.
Excellent.
And hopefully it's a good night.
Have fun with that.
All right, thank you.
You too.
We're back with the evidence review from the Creeper Gallery, and there is a lot of evidence to go through.
We actually started the night off with a key question to get it going to associate with whether or not these things were actually haunted like we were told.
Can you always take the camera?
Is anybody attached to these objects here next to me? Okay, I thought so. I thought so. There's a lot of bad stuff in that case there.
Should we take some out and start? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wow, it's really going nuts to that one. That's really a definite yes.
Can you get it?
I got both of them. So that was two pieces of equipment reacting to a question on different sides of the room. Again, using different equipment, this next clip involves something called the Ovulus that has 2,000 words programmed into it, and again, can be manipulated by spirits. Kenny mentions being cold and goosebumps on his arm, and the Ovulus actually says temperature, as if it's stating that I'm manipulating the temperature.
No, go take it over there, Tommy. See if you can't.
I got the goosebumps, the hair on my arm standing up, and you can just
right there.
Only right on my back, not on my
Right from your hand, and it went towards that case right.
My hand's
Behind you.
Yeah.
See, it's going around.
Temperature.
The temperature changed.
It says
Yeah.
temperature.
It's messing with the temperature.
What's pretty cool about that is that all night long we actually had the equipment going off, and we finally figured out that something was going around us and changing.
But the fact that it says temperature acknowledges that, hey, I'm the one who did that.
As soon as he said cold.
Right.
As soon as he said cold. On this next video, we actually clipped Tanya actually started talking about, because the Ovulus says material, and Tanya, actually a very quick thinker, automatically associates it with in a frame there's actually a piece of material of a wallpaper where somebody was murdered and their blood was stained on there, and she does something that actually confirms to follow up on that, and one of the pieces of equipment reacts to it.
Ease.
Ease.
Material.
Ease material. Material. Maybe the wallpaper, the murder?
Yeah, that is. There is wallpaper here from a murder scene.
Oh, it's lighting up. We're talking about.
I love that clip again because it's confirmation through multiple pieces of equipment.
And what made that go off?
Right, exactly. It was confirming, validating what she was talking about. This next clip here was impressive because when it happened, we all kind of froze and looked to say, what was that? There's a bang in the corner that just comes out of nowhere, and we did capture it on video.
Can you light this one up behind me? There's a circle behind me too. Can you light that one up?
What was that?
What the hell was
There
that?
was something right over the corner. Well, it's funny about that clip because everything was happening over in that space that night too. So I just followed it up with, hey, is this your favorite spot?
Right, and then you got confirmation, validation on that as well through a piece of equipment. Is that, could you do that again? Whatever that noise was, could you make that noise again? Were you moving something?
Well, I asked if that's your favorite spot or you feel better over there.
There you go. Okay. So that's where you like to be, in that corner, huh? So again, we talk all the time about an intelligent haunting. That is interaction with us. On command, our interaction with the equipment, basically back and forth.
That's rare.
And that is very rare. And here's another example of that. Tanya's talking about that same circle. Could you make that go off again? And it doesn't make the circle go off again. It makes an object in your hand go off again.
Which is a handheld REM pod.
Right. But that same little box with 2,000 words programmed into it says again, as if to repeat what she said. And here's a clip of that.
Can you light that circle up again? We were talking about car.
No, we're talking about pen.
Again?
So that was really impressive. Again, the fact that it's so intelligent and interacting in a way that it's repeating words. It's saying temperature, that I'm the one who affected that. This is me saying, not only are you feeling the reaction of me being here, I'm now telling you.
I'm reacting to what you're asking.
Exactly. I'm the one who touched the thing in the corner. I'm the one who made it colder in here. Again, very rare for any building.
Well, it's funny because you know from the interviews that Donna and Danny were talking about the situation. There's toys that you don't really see that's underneath the table there.
Madeline.
And as soon as we came in, before we even did an interview with them on tape, they said, whatever you do, we don't want you touching those toys underneath. We've had so much damage and property destroyed the next day when we come in after people do touch it when we ask them not to, because these are toys that are very valuable. They mean a lot to this Madeline that's supposedly in there, and we did respect that. And we got
as hard as it was to respect.
It was hard because it was tempting, because we used things to instigate things.
The trigger objects.
And we had to tell one of our team members, as much as it killed her, we couldn't. But we actually got a response that
we're referencing the fact that we can't touch them, and something
we get a response from
acknowledges that. Toys are underneath the table where the dog is. You're not allowed to touch them. We've been given strict instructions not to touch them.
Because when you touch them, she gets mad and she throws things
There you go.
around.
Yeah,
I think
we're
that's
not
just
gonna
a
she breaks touch him.
We're not going to touch a Madeline. I
She
promise.
breaks things if you touch them. The owner said they've come in and found things smashed, and stuff here is expensive.
So one of the things that we look for during any investigation is, during the pre-interview, we listen to the claims, we talk to the people who have experienced them, and we try to validate them as we go. And here's a prime example of that. We're told about this spirit of Madeline, the little girl with the toys, and lo and behold, Madeline or whoever it is confirms that no, it's not okay for you to touch those toys.
Yeah,
So-
right off the bat.
Along those same lines, one of the things that was mentioned that Madeline does is she likes to touch people, she likes to tug their shirt. It happened to me during the interview, and then it happens to me again on this clip where I actually say somebody's tugging my shirt, and two different instruments react to that.
Not only that, you and Kenny simultaneously had it
Exactly.
happen to you at the same time.
Okay, and here's the clip. I keep feeling something. It tugged my shirt.
It's Madeline.
Yeah, she said Madeline's the one that tugs the shirts.
Madeline.
Over there, and it happened over here. Oh, there you go. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I
me
keep
too.
feeling something tugging
And Kenny
my shirt.
too.
Well, I'm at the same time.
And Kenny's got his meter going off at the same time. So there we have another example of my shirt was pulled. The object next to me reacted. Kenny then had his shirt pulled. The object next to him reacted.
And that was also stated in our interview with them, that that was something that typically happened to people who would come into the store.
Right. So again, what are the odds of that? That's a coincidence that you just can't explain, that something like that would happen.
No.
Again, very strange.
And we decided to go to, from this point, let's try an EVP session, which Tanya's really good at, and we're doing a voice recording, and Tanya started asking questions, and it actually led us right back to Madeline again.
And this is one of my favorite clips, by the way.
Oh,
this
perfect.
is a great catch, what we did pick up on that recorder.
Are you a boy or are you a girl?
There was something right before you finished.
Are you a boy or are you a girl?
Did you hear that?
What the hell
There's
was
a
that?
voice right before
Are
that.
you a boy or are you a girl?
I was like, no. Yeah, it sounds like help.
Help?
Sounds like help
Or
me.
are you a girl?
Help.
You need help? Wait a minute. No,
That's
it's
it.
not
Are
help.
you a boy or are you a girl?
Help me.
There you go. Look,
Help
look.
me.
Help me. Holy crap, look at that. It's going off too, just as it's going off on the
Help
recorder.
me. It said help me.
That was amazing because Tanya was in such disbelief. We all heard it from a distance and we're all saying, help me. And a little girl's voice. Did you hear that voice? That voice was a little girl's voice. Help me, help me. And when Tanya finally got it, the REM pod reacted
Well,
as
not
if
only that,
you heard it too.
we actually, right before that happened, you also stated for us, but we just couldn't get it where we could hear it. You actually heard someone say something in your ear as Tanya's doing the EVP session.
Yeah, but again, the way it reacted at the end there, when she finally got it, that REM pod acknowledged like everybody heard me. So the final clip here, again, we're trying to validate that response by following up with another question where I asked, was that Madeline's voice that we heard that saying help me,
He just
asking
wanted to
for help?
reconfirm it.
And here's the clip. Am I saying that right, or Madeline?
Madeline.
Madeline, is that you asking for help? Light up that circle to make some music if it's you asking for help. Was there someone here who... Well, there you go. Bingo.
Oh, that's
Bingo.
the little girl that's here.
That's the little girl.
Whoa.
Kenny's going
Kenny's
off.
And there's one
It's going off.
At the
They're
same
both at
time.
the same
Yep.
time. Oh my gosh, that one just shut off and that one's still on.
So there we have not only one piece of equipment, two again reacting as validation, confirmation, which
Of
again,
everything we were told in the interview.
very rare for any building for us to capture that kind of evidence to be validated on multiple pieces of equipment. So again, we had more clips that we just couldn't show, but that was definitely one of the better investigations we've done.
Great place.